What's up, guys? Just making this video now. I know I had hopes of recording my deadlifting day for you guys at the gym. Unfortunately, I had no cameraman, and today, oddly enough, this Saturday was completely packed with people in there lifting. Cool thing happened though. There was a gentleman in there lifting. His name is Trent, and I got there, and he was pulling a moderate amount of weight. I think he was pulling like 405 when I got there. I got stretching out and everything like that, and I saw that he was still pulling, so I asked him if I could work in with him. So we dropped the weight down. I warmed up with about 10 reps of 135. Then I did 5 reps at 225, 5 reps at 315, and then I started getting into my working sets. I did about I did 405 6 times, and I did 425 5 times, and then I stopped for a second, and I observed him as he was going. He was working about the same amount of weight I was. We're working around like 90% of our max, so we were working up there pretty decent in the numbers. I think we got to like 445 for like the 3 rep max today. But anyway, he observed a couple things that I wanted to that he pointed out for me that I wanted to shoot out to you guys. I think it's going to help you guys build a stronger ground game when you're deadlifting. First and foremost, with bar placement, what I found works with me, because I have long arms and long legs. I'm about 6 foot. So what it is a lot of guys like to get right up on the bar and pull that bar tight into their shins before they lift it up. What that does is it drops your hips lower. Therefore, it gives you a longer range of motion. While some schools of thought would think that that's better, you want more range of motion when doing the lift, you don't in your hips. You kind of want the workout to be more activated in your quads and your back and all that stuff, not focused on your hips, because your hips aren't going to be strong enough to really, rip that weight up off the floor. So with that, if I would invite you guys to try and set the bar out a few inches from your shin. That way, when you get up to the bar, you grab a hold of the bar and you bend your knees to grab the bar. When you sit your spine in the neutral, your spine and your neck at that neutral position, and you squeeze everything, take that breath of air, and you tighten your core, and you're about to pull. If you were to glance in the mirror, you're at a strong angle. Your hips won't be too low, they won't be too high. They'll be at an optimal height, that where when you pull, you won't feel as if you're pulling it in your lower back. And that tends to happen because when you have that more range of that longer range of motion, when you've got the bar too close to your shins, your hips tend to rise before everything else. When your hips tend to rise, you're essentially turning the deadlift into a stiff leg deadlift, and that, trust me, speaking from personal experience, that's going to bring a world of hurt when it comes to lower back injuries and stuff like that, if you have any now, or you could end up injuring yourself while you're lifting. So again, with the hip placement and shin placement, try letting the bar drift out from your shins. So when you grab the bar, when you're standing over the bar and you're getting your feet width set up and you're getting your hand placement set up, as soon as you bend down to pull that weight up, your shins should touch the bar, should be touching the bar at that point in time. They shouldn't be riding your bar. Your shins shouldn't be riding on the bar while you're standing there to set up your grip. It's just going to make it that much more difficult for you, and your chest and your center of gravity will be over the bar, in front of the bar, which is going to tilt you forward, and you'll get that kyphosis, that kyphotic behavior in your back, where you're standing like your back ends up, I know this is a crappy example, I'm driving, but where you're, instead of your back and your hips working like this, and as your hips and back come up, you stand up like this, you'll end up rising your hips, rolling your back, and then you'll end up pulling it like that. And what that ends up doing is it's causing a tremendous amount of damage and strain on your back, on your erector muscles, on your spine in general. You're just causing all kinds of damage to yourself. While it may not hurt today, tomorrow you're going to feel it in the long term. So really focus on what you're doing, and where the placement of the your shins are and all that stuff. Find it where it's comfortable, so that when you set into the weight and you're about to pull it, you're not putting strain on your lower back. You're not putting strain in your hip joints and your hip sockets and stuff like that. Your hips aren't too low, and you can comfortably sit with the bar against your shins and pull it up off the floor. Another thing you want to make sure you do is have tension in your arms. Do not have your arms relaxed to where you're jerking the bar up off the floor. I've seen a lot of guys do this. I watched a video recently with Jeremy Hamilton talking about it. What he does before he goes down and grabs the bar is he pushes his lats into his front pockets. Sounds kind of weird, but just imagine you're standing there and you got your arms to your side, and as you're bending over, you're envisioning yourself tucking your lateral muscles like as if you were tucking your lats into your front pockets. What that's going to do is straighten your arms completely out, drift them straight down to the sides of your knees, just to the side of your legs. So when you grab that bar, everything is tight. You want everything tight. Wherever you got looseness in your arms, your back, whatever, that's the part that's going to break when you're attempting to lift. You're going to bend. You're going to hurt yourself. I've seen guys injure shoulders, tear biceps by not having the correct tension on the bar. What helped me when I first started doing it, a guy taught me that when I grabbed the bar, to push the bar into the floor, push the bar down as if you're like punching into the bar. And that's going to teach you to keep your arms locked out, to not have a bend in your arms, to not have that slack in your arms. That's just going to cause all kinds of damage for you. And work with your grips too. If you do better with double overhand grip, then work with that. What I do is I warm up overhand grip, double overhand. I can't even talk. And then when I start getting to the heavier weights, when I chalk up and stuff, you'll see me doing an underhand grip. I usually have my right hand under and my left hand will be an overhand grip. I just feel much stronger that way. I feel I have more control, more positive control over the bar. So see what works for you. The guy Trent and I had a long talk about, everybody's got an opinion about deadlifts. There's a million different schools of thought, but ultimately you have to find what works for you. Well, my hands are on the wheel. You have to find what works for you and what works for your body and your body type. Okay, you can't search on the internet and find a guy that does particular deadlift and he does a particular deadlift style and expect it to work for you 100% of the time. Point in case, the way I was deadlifting, I would do a lot of touch and goes. Trent pointed out today that when I was pulling 425, I was slamming it into the floor, but I was keeping my hips tight and I wasn't resetting and then pulling the weight up again. Therefore, when I was getting tired, when I was getting into the 4, 5, and 6 reps at 425, my lower back was starting to round a little bit, and that's going to cause injury. He pointed that out to me. So he shot a good pointer right over to me, and I'm going to share it with you guys. When you're lifting the weight up and you're bringing the weight back down, okay, the eccentric and eccentric motions, the lifting and the lowering of the weight, is obviously where you're getting your strength from. That's where you're building your stabilizers, you're building your muscle and your power and all that stuff. So if you're bobbing the weight up and down, if you're pulling the weight up, you got the weight, you're at full lockout, and as you're bringing the weight down, you're just letting the plates touch the floor a little bit, and you're still keeping that bar bent. You're ultimately only probably setting down only a small portion of that weight, and you're keeping that constant tension on your back. It's almost like keeping time under tension. And with deadlifts, you're really not trying to do that. It's not like you're doing a curl where you're trying to, get that pump going on, because you're not. Your back's going to give out and snap city, buddy, straight away, snap city. So what he advised me to do, and it worked. After doing our heavy sets, after working up to our 3 rep maxes, we did 5x5s. We set up to about 80% of our max, and we did 5x5s. So I was doing about 335 pounds, I think. My percentage might be off. I was doing about 335 pounds, 5x5s. So I was doing 5 sets of 5 reps each. But what I was focusing on is on my way down, and I even did this with the 405. I went back to 405 after we went up to 445. I went back down to 405, and I tried this style that he showed me. When you bring the weight back down, let the weight drop. Once you get the barbell past your knees, once it gets past your knees and your knee joints and stuff, let the bar just drop. Hold on to it, but just let it drop to the floor. Okay? When it gets to the floor, then reset, like as if you were when you first grabbed it. Reset it, pull the bar again, continue doing it that way. Allow the bar to reset, allow yourself to reset yourself before you attempt another pull. And what that's going to do is it's ultimately going to help build strength for you off the floor. It's going to help build the strength so that when you're pulling those heavier weights, those 1-rep maxes and stuff like that, you're not going to be, jerking your back. You're not going to be doing all these really damaging motions. I wish I could be more technical with it, but I wish I could have filmed it. That ultimately would have been the easiest way to solve this. But I just didn't have anybody to do it and everything like that. But after doing the heavier sets, getting up into our heavier sets and our heavier numbers, worked back down, and we went and did the 5x5s. It felt great. I felt stronger. I was doing I was resetting the bar every single time I was doing the 5x5s, and ultimately I felt strong all the way around. I didn't feel the pain in my lower back like I normally would if I was just going ham on the bar. So it's something you should definitely try out and look into. You really have to experiment with your body, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. You can't take my advice as law. You can't take somebody else's advice as law. Like, this is going to work for you 100% of the time, because it may and it may not. Find what works for you and stick with it. Don't change it because somebody says, well, hey, try it this way, try it that way. And I know I'm contradicting myself because Trent told me to do it this way, but that's because I had a problem area. If you find something that's working for you, working for your gains, for your muscle, it's working it's a complementary exercise that's working for you and it's benefiting you, stick with it. Don't change it. Stick with the way you're doing it, especially with your deadlifts. If your deadlift, you feel comfortable at the weight you're at, you feel comfortable setting the bar the way you do, and you're doing the form properly, then do it that way. It doesn't matter if some big muscle-bound powerlifter comes in there and you see the guy lurching over the bar and he's bending it, slamming it, not even resetting it, pulling it, slamming it. You don't know his story. He may have been training for 10, 15 years or whatever, or he may not even have a damn clue. He's just naturally strong, and you want to take advice from this guy and you start adopting his style. Okay, don't try to reinvent the wheel, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if your form needs tweaking, find out where you need to set up on the bar. There's 3 main points I want to drive home with this video. Set up on the bar where it's comfortable. Have the bar distance from your shins in a comfortable position so that when you bend down to grab the bar, you're not lurching over the bar and rounding your back at all. You have a neutral spine, neutral neck and a neutral spine. Okay, point number 2. Lock your arms out. Lock them straight. Okay, a good way to do this is, like I mentioned, had Jeremy Hamilton had mentioned, focus and envision you are tucking your lateral muscles into your front pockets. In doing that, it's going to help keep a tight core, straight neutral spine, neutral neck, and your arms are going to be straight and tight. And grip the hell out of the bar. No sissy grips. Don't use straps. Use straps if your gym doesn't allow chalk, but that's only when you get to heavy weights. If I find out you guys are using straps, once you got grip problems, if you're using straps just because you don't want to tear your hands up and stuff, come on, guys. Come on. Unless you're a woman and you're doing it, and you want women want to have soft hands, you're a hand model. I understand, but I'm straying off topic now. Okay. Anyway, point number 3 I want to drive home for this video. Okay, is reset the bar. Don't touch and go with the weight unless you're in some kind of competition and you're trying to slam out as many repetitions as you possibly can with that weight. Reset the bar every time. It's going to build a stronger foundation for you. It's going to build a stronger, faster pull from the floor to the top. Get a full lock out at the top. Bring the bar down once you get to your knees, and you'll know because your arms or that bar will be rubbing on your knees. Drop. Let gravity take control. Let the weight slam on the floor. Reset. Get that breath of air. Squeeze that core tight. Drop your butt. Get that neutral spine. Make sure those arms are tight. I know it's a lot. It'll become second nature once you train with enough. That's why you want to start with a lighter weight. Okay, but once you go through those little checklists and you're good to go, grip and rip. Grip the shit out of that bar. Rip it up. Go back down. Reset it again. Okay. There's a lot of videos where you can see when a guy resets a bar. He lets the weight hit the ground. It's not bouncing around. It's sitting there, completely placid and neutral. His butt will rise up. He'll take a breath. He'll tuck his rear end underneath him, get tight on the bar, get tension, and he'll pull it up. He'll drop the weight. He'll do the same thing again. That's how you're resetting the bar. When somebody is bouncing the bar and they're essentially just touch and go, as we call it, you'll see the bar go down. They'll keep their back and everything will stay tight the whole way. It's like at time under tension. It will stay tight. They'll slam the weight. The bar, they won't reset, and they'll just keep pulling it. They'll drop it, let the weight slam on the floor, pull it, not reset. And what's happening when you're doing that is you're essentially, like I said, you're going down. It's kind of hard to do it like that. You're going down, you're dropping the weight, and you're coming back up, and what's happening is your back is getting tired. So you're gonna end up doing this. By the time the motions are done, if you were to have somebody filming you, I guarantee your last couple repetitions are going to look like shit. Your back's going to be rounded, your lower back, all the key points that I pointed out before, you're going to be you're going to be screwing them all up. And what that's going to equate to is pain and injury down the road. And I'm telling you from personal experience, I have blew out my intercostal muscle, my rib cage, trying to rip 405 before I knew how to correctly do the form, and I blew out the muscle, and I couldn't touch the weight for about 9 weeks. I couldn't properly deadlift, and even after that, it took me 6 months to get back to 405 again. Okay, so just let that sink in there just a little bit. I know it's been a long video. I wish I could have filmed the deadlifts and stuff, but I'm just trying to pass on all the information that I got today. What we did, and working out with the guy Trent was awesome. Super strong dude, super athletic. He's under 200 pounds, and his one rep max, he's pulling 465. So I think it's like 190 pounds, tall and skinny. Real strong dude, real athletic. Awesome guy. I appreciated the workout with him and stuff like that, and the knowledge he was able to drop and the critiquing and everything. So take it for what it is, guys. Take my advice if you'd like. Apply it to your workouts, and apply it to your deadlifts, I should say, because that's what we're talking about. Apply it to your deadlifts, and overall, it's a science. There's a science to deadlifting. It's not like a bench press where there's not a whole lot into it. You really have to run through your checklists and make sure everything is stable, tight and stable. Otherwise, you're going to be injured, and we don't need that, nor do we want that. All right, guys, if you have any more questions, if you have any questions about the video, any questions about different types of deadlift exercises or auxiliary lifts to help strengthen your deadlift, strengthen the pull from the floor, if you have problems locking out, problems pulling, wherever it is, shoot a comment or a message to our page, and be sure to like and share the video so we can pass it around. All right, guys, until next time, peace.